Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're jumping into something that's, well, it's part hobby, part lifestyle, and honestly, a bit of a personal food revolution, raising your own backyard chickens. If you've ever wanted to close the gap between your backyard and your breakfast plate, you are in the right place. I mean, really, have you ever just pictured this? Stepping outside in the morning, maybe with a hot cup of coffee, and gathering your own perfectly fresh eggs. It's a really appealing thought, and for a very good reason, because that daydream, it leads directly to this, the absolute ultimate farm-fresh breakfast. We're talking about eggs with these deep golden yolks and a rich flavor that, let's be honest, you just can't find in a carton from the grocery store. This right here is the delicious payoff. But, it's about so much more than just a great meal. Having chickens connects you to nature in a really unique way. They're surprisingly entertaining, and they get you into this steady, grounding daily rhythm. And that brings us to this quote, which is so true. Let's be real for a second. Chickens aren't a weekend project. They need you every day. But that simple, consistent routine, letting them out in the morning, checking for eggs, tucking them in safely at night, that's the magic formula. Predictability keeps them calm and happy chickens, they lay the best eggs. Okay, so where do you begin? Well, your first big and I think most fun decision is picking your birds. You are literally getting to choose the personality of your little backyard community. And that really boils down to this fundamental question. Are you looking for a friendly, curious backyard pet that your kids can hang out with? Or are you aiming for an egg-laying superstar that's all about production? Some breeds are basically feathered puppies. Others are just efficient little machines. And there's no wrong answer. It's all about what you want out of the experience. And here's what that choice looks like in practice. See, on one side, you've got a breed like the Buff Orpington. Super calm, super friendly, great for families, but you're going to get fewer eggs. Then, way on the other end of the spectrum, you have the Leghorn, an absolute champion egg layer. We're talking up to 320 eggs a year, but they're more flighty, more independent. So you see the trade-off, right? Personality versus peak production. All right, once you've picked your flock, it is time to build their home. And I really want you to think of the coop as less of a house and more of a fortress. It's their safe space, their shelter, and it's where all that egg-laying magic happens. Getting this part right is absolutely essential. You might be surprised by what just one single hen needs. Think about it. About a quarter pound of feed every single day, and at least 4 square feet of space inside the coop. Now, imagine you have a small flock, say 4 or 5 hens. You start doing that math, and you realize pretty quick why planning your space and your budget is so important. So these are the absolute non-negotiables for a solid coop. Space isn't just about them being comfortable. It's about preventing them from getting stressed and bullying each other. Ventilation is key. Think of it like cracking a window in a steamy bathroom. You got to let that moisture and ammonia out. And here's a pro tip. Your roosting bars have to be higher than your nesting boxes. Chickens instinctively want to sleep on the highest perch available, and you want them sleeping on the bars, not pooping where they lay their eggs. And a fortress means it has to be predator-proof. A raccoon has surprisingly nimble little hands. A simple latch is like an unlocked door to them. So you need 2-step locks. And please, whatever you do, do not use chicken wire for security. A raccoon will tear right through it like it's paper. You need to use 1/2-inch hardware cloth on every single opening. It's also a great idea to bury a skirt of it around the base of the run to stop animals from digging underneath. So your fortress is built. Now it's time for the newest, most fragile little residents. The first few weeks of a chick's life are super delicate, and their temporary home, which we call a brooder, is where you build a foundation for a healthy life. A perfect brooder isn't just about sticking a heat lamp in a box. It's about giving the chicks a choice. You create a hot zone right under the lamp, about 95 degrees for the first week, and a cooler zone further away. And the chicks themselves will tell you if you've got it right. Are they all huddled right under the lamp? They're cold. Are they all pushed against the far walls? It's too hot. But if they're moving around happily, chirping contentedly, you've nailed it. Okay, now we got to talk about something called pasty butt. I know, it sounds kind of gross, but it's really important. It's just what happens when droppings get stuck and create a blockage. If you don't take care of it, it can actually be fatal. But the good news is, it's super easy to manage. The fix is simple, and you have to be gentle. Take a warm, damp paper towel and just hold it on the area to soften everything up first. Don't just pull at it. A chick's skin is paper thin. Then just wipe very, very gently until it's clean. A little dab of coconut oil can help keep it from happening again. It's a 2-minute check that can literally save a chick's life. And then, after all that care and attention, you get to the best part, the ultimate reward. One day, you'll notice your young hen's calm and wattles are a deep, vibrant red. She might even do this funny little submissive squat when you get close. These are the classic signs that her body is ready, and your very first egg is just around the corner. So you've got your first egg. Now what? Welcome to the great egg debate, to wash or not to wash. It all comes down to an amazing invisible protective coating called the bloom. If you don't wash the egg, that bloom stays intact, sealing it from bacteria. That egg is perfectly safe on your counter for weeks. But the second you wash it, that protective layer is gone, and the egg has to go straight into the fridge. So it's totally your call. Unwashed on the counter for a few weeks, or washed and in the fridge for a month or more. Oh, and here's a great little trick. No matter where you store them, always store them pointy end down. This keeps the little air sac at the top, and the yolk stays perfectly centered, which actually helps them stay fresh even longer. Now, let's just zoom out for a second. This whole thing is incredibly rewarding on its own, but it also has some pretty big real-world benefits. You hear things like the commercial egg market facing huge price hikes, over 40%, because of things like avian flu. And suddenly, having a steady, reliable source of eggs right in your own backyard, well, it starts to look less like a quaint hobby and more like a really smart decision. And that really brings us to the final question to ponder. In a world where supply chains can be fragile and prices are always going up, is a backyard flock just a fun hobby? Or could it be one of the smartest, most practical investments you can make in your family's food and your own self-sufficiency? It's definitely something to think about. Thanks for tuning in.